Welcome to the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast, where we dive into the art and science of building a thriving med spa. I'm your host, Kat Toronto. In this podcast, we're all about empowering medical professionals and entrepreneurs like you with the knowledge, tools, and inspiration needed to elevate your practice to new heights. Whether you're just starting your journey or you're a seasoned expert looking to expand, this is the place where the industry's brightest minds come together to share their secrets to success. So sit back, relax, and get ready to unlock the potential of your med spa with the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast. Let's go on this journey together, one success story at a time. Hey, I'm Kat Toronto. Welcome to this episode of Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa. I'm so excited to talk about summer. I think this has just happened to me since I've moved to the Midwest, where, in Arizona, it was summer every day. But in the Midwest, it's like, oh my God, spring is here, summer's almost here. I've turned into one of those people that talk about the weather. Today, we're going to talk about lasers during the summer. Typically, lasers really slow down and, for a lot of good reasons. But there's a lot of new data out that shows that, yes, lasers can be done safely if we treat the right person and at the right time with the right laser. And so let's talk about how we can increase our laser business during the summer. I mean, you want to? I do, because I think there's so many clients that would benefit from this. So let's talk about the client first and then the device. Which device will be safest? How do we approach that? So when I look at our clients at Aesthetic Care, is everyone a candidate? No. But, is everyone a candidate for everything that we do? No. So there's no big deal. I don't think it's a big deal that not everyone is a candidate. I think that if you're new to lasers, you would start with treating your Fitzpatrick 1 through 3s. So blue-green eyes, they burn before they tan. Those clients are going to be the best client, the best skin type to start this with. You're going to be less likely to have complications no matter the laser that you use. And if you do have a complication, the complications don't result typically in things like hypopigmentation, which can be very difficult, almost impossible to treat when we're treating our clients with melanin-rich skin. So let's be smart and let's start with clients or skin types that can bring that color back in, that we don't have complications that are not fixable. Starting with your Fitzpatrick 1 through 3s, I would say in the summer, again, starting with the face and not the body, because in my experience, I have a lot of clients that will wear sunscreen religiously on their face and never put an application of sunscreen on their body during the summer. So I think, again, starting with Fitz 1 through 3s on the face and then looking at those clients that do follow the rules that we're going to talk about today to say, can we take it down to the body during the summer, or do we just really limit it to the face? So another thing to think about is lifestyle. So what lifestyle, what habits does your client have with sunscreen? What kind of sunscreen do they use? How often do they reapply it? Do they wear hats? Do they wear clothing, long sleeves if we are going to be attempting the body during the summer? Do they sit underneath an umbrella? Is that umbrella light or dark? How much coverage are they really getting? And over the years, we educated our clients in a way that many of them do apply sunscreen. They apply it every hour or two, especially those that are athletic. They're out playing pickleball. They're wiping off their sunscreen with their towel and then not thinking to reapply it. Those people are potentially not candidates, but those that do reapply every hour or two while they're at the pool, while they're playing tennis, while they're gardening, they're wearing a hat, those things, they walk in the door and you don't see any bronzing, any tan going on in the area that you're treating. Why not treat them during the summer? Because, especially if we talk about very safe lasers that we're going to get to here in a minute, there's a lot of opportunity with that. So lifestyle definitely matters. What are they doing during the summer? What are their habits with sunscreen? What type of protection do they get? Where do they give themselves that protection? Is it face and body or just face? And that will help you to develop the right plan for them. I also like to think about their vacations. Are they the family that's going to take a lot of vacations during the summer because their kids are still in school and it's really the only time other than spring break that they can do it? So if I have a client that's going to be on 2 to 3 vacations during the summer, I'm probably not going to pick the summer for her unless she's, again, really compliant and it's the only time of the year that she can do it. I mean, think about our teachers. Sometimes the summer is the only time that they can have these treatments. And so if we don't talk to them about the opportunity of summer, they just may think they're not a candidate at all. So whether it's a school teacher, a teacher at a local university, this is a prime opportunity for them to have their summer treatments because they're not at work. They have weeks and weeks of downtime, possibly, right, that they could allow during that time. If they're the vacation going person, I may say no to summer just because I want them to enjoy their vacations, especially if they're not going to wear sunscreen and be compliant with hats. If they are the vacationer that is compliant with hats and sunscreen, I would just choose to do the treatment before or after either the vacation, as long as there are, at least 2 weeks to heal before. And that would be the main concern, because I don't want them to have a treatment like MOXI and be sloughing off while they're on vacation, wanting to get in the pool and applying lots of product and sunscreen. I really want that sloughing process to be fully complete before they're doing those things. And that typically takes, sometimes 5 to 7 days, but I would tell them 2 weeks. That way we've got that full week after the slough happens for their skin to really heal up, be super smooth, back to all of the products they're used to wearing. So compliance is really key when it comes to treating during the summer. And I think we all know those clients that walk in and say, oh my God, I wear sunscreen every day. I mean, my skin's just this color year round. And I'm thinking, really? Let me see your bum. If your bum is the same color, although maybe they do tanning beds and then that's going to ruin that one too. But if we look at the inside of their arm, if we do get a glimpse of a part of the body that isn't exposed to sun, that is a way to say, hey, this is the inside of your arm. Look at the color difference between that area and your face. It's just telling me that even if you are wearing sunscreen, you're still getting some sun. So let's talk about what type of sunscreen you're using, how often you're applying, what activities you're doing outside, so we can really get you to a point where we could do these treatments during the summer. So for our Fitzpatrick 4 through 6 are clients with melanin-rich skin, I would say just wait till the fall. Let's really look at treating them during the fall, the winter, and early spring, depending on when they take their vacations, and base it around that or other big events that are going on in their lives, of course. And that way we can really treat safely first and then get to those results later. So education.
Nurse Rebecca here. If your team is ready for hands-on growth, come train with me at Mint Aesthetics. Our in-person training happens inside our state-of-the-art training facility and our sister company, Aesthetic Care Med Spa, one of the top-performing clinics in the country. You'll learn real treatment plans, real protocols, and real skills with real patients. Whether it's BBL, Halo, MOXI, Heroic, injectables, or consultations, we teach what works. Bring your team and leave with confidence. Learn more at mintaesthetics.com.
Mint eCourse subscribers get full access to over 40 courses covering clinical training, business strategy, and day-to-day operation, all built from what is actually working inside a $20 million med spa. Our most popular courses include BBL, MOXI, and Halo, along with the Perfect Consultation, a step-by-step framework to help providers improve conversion and treatment planning. This is where the concepts from the podcast become structured, repeatable execution for your entire team. Visit mintaesthetics.com and use the promo code podcast to get $500 off. So we've talked about where we would start on the face or the body. We've talked about what Fitzpatricks are going to be the most important. We've talked about compliance with sunscreen and post-care, and we'll dive a little bit more into post-care here at the end. But what about the right lasers to choose? The safest laser, in my opinion, is always going to be your 1927 Thulium. And so for me, that's the Cyton MOXI device. There are so many things I can do with that device on all all skin types, year round. And, if you're new though, Fits 1 through 3 is during the summer. And so I love the MOXI because it creates a downtime that is so easy compared to the results that we get. It continues to blow my mind how great the results are while the downtime is just so insignificant. And it's the reason why our clients love it. It's the reason why our team loves it. It's the reason why it does so well for us here at Aesthetic Hair. And so if you're going to start with any laser during the summer, I would say start with MOXI. Now, there was also a study that came out recently about non-ablative fractional devices or lasers and how we are seeing that they actually prevent non-melanoma type skin cancer, which is huge. So not only are we able to improve the texture, polish the skin, brighten the skin, we're creating healthier skin. And so it gives me something else, another viewpoint on why I use this device year round, why I continue to use it during the summer. So what are some other wavelengths that would also be safe during the summer? If you have an ND YAG, so whether it's that Clear Silk or Clear Vion Cyton, or, there's a number of devices that have an ND YAG, and there's different ways to deliver that energy. And so that's also going to be a variable that you would want to consider. But ND YAGs are, they are a device. It is a wavelength that's very safe on Fitzpatrick 1 through 6s. We use it for laser hair removal. We use it for vascular lesions and conditions. And so you could definitely continue to use your ND YAG during the summer. Now, if they have a tan walking in the door, do I want to treat them with any laser? If it's a recent tan, for me, I would say no. I know that some would tell you yes, but I would say at least give it, a week. They haven't just come off the boat and jumped right into the laser. I would rather wait, again, a week just to let all the melanocytes calm down to prevent complications post-treatment. And, but, an ND YAG would also be an option. So you could stack an ND YAG, treat the vascular lesions with MOXI, and that would be a super safe treatment to address redness in the skin, overall texture improvements with the MOXI, reduce pore size with the MOXI, not forever, but for a short period of time, smooth the skin, polish the skin. So a gorgeous combination during the summer. Now, for all of you that have MOXI, I almost guarantee you also have Heroic or Hero, one of the BBL modules. And so would I do BBL during the summer? Heck yeah, especially if my client is a Fitzpatrick 1 through 3, they wear sunscreen, they wear their hats, I'm treating the face. And I can look at the face and say, yes, the skin on the face has not been out in the sun. Then of course, I'm so confident using that technology on the face. Now, if I look at the same client, she's tan on her neck and her chest, I'm going to choose not to treat those areas with BBL. I might just do MOXI on the neck and chest. And so it would look like this. I would do the BBL portion on the face and follow immediately with MOXI, and then jump into neck and chest for the MOXI only. And so that way I could really still treat face, neck, and chest, but not be treating with the BBL. And so the BBL, what is the complication? Of course, when the client has tan skin, there's more melanin. The energy gets absorbed by melanin, creates heat, and that's what gets the result with pigmented lesions and vascular lesions. But if there's a competing chromophore of melanin around those pigmented lesions and vascular lesions, which is the tan, all of that is going to heat up. It's going to create much more heat, and that's where we see things like striping, stamping, and even blisters. And so I definitely want to avoid the blisters. It's happened, but whenever possible. And so if I avoid treating tan skin, I can avoid getting blisters. If you get the striping, the stamping, which has happened to me, the more you do lasers, if you say it's never happened to you, I kind of honestly wonder how much you've done. Eventually it's probably going to happen, but that's okay because it's fixable. The complication that's really not fixable is if we get a blister, the blister gets picked off and then it hypopigments. The hypopigmentation is almost impossible to treat, but anything else that happens in terms of striping, stamping, or even a little PIH from the blister, the skin peels from the blister, typically as long as that blister is left intact and kept hydrated through that healing process, it comes off and the skin is fine underneath. For many years, if I had stamping with BBL, alone, starting back from 2006, 2007, I would clean up the stamping or the stripes with additional BBL treatments. And so on the face, I could retreat within a week, but on the body, it would be, 3 to 4 weeks because all the microcrusting had to come off. So I would fix it with 2 to 3 treatments of BBL. But now I can treat it and fix it with MOXI. And so if there are some areas that show the square, show that rectangle treatment, I'll go back and I'll treat around it and over it and around it once the microcrusting has come off with BBL, and then follow immediately with MOXI. And you don't have to do these high energy, high density passes with MOXI to really smooth out and to treat that area. You can do treatments like 10 to 12.5 millijoules at 15 to 20% density. So you do a higher density treatment in terms of MOXI settings at that 15 to 20 instead of 5 to 10, so that you get more areas, more zones of injury, so that it sloughs off, but lower energy settings like 10 to 12.5 millijoules. And so the treatment's actually very easy for the client because they might be a little unnerved since they have those rectangles and squares and wondering, what's going to happen from this next treatment. And so it's nice to have a technology like MOXI that you can do these lower energy treatments that don't hurt as much, but higher density, so you get a better sloughing that happens, and then it fixes that, smooths out that stripe stamp look much faster. And typically within one treatment, it's really smoothed all of that out. So such a big win when having that device. So it might be something, if you don't have a Thallium device, I would say, oh my God, you should absolutely look into it because there's so much that you can do with it. We're talking about summer, and you know that melasma is about to pop up. MOXI is also great for melasma. And when we talk about this device and what it can do, am I trying to sell you a Cyton laser? I guess so. But it's only because I love it so much and we do so well with it. Is something that, again, you can use it year round on all Fitzpatricks, clients that have melasma, clients that are prone to PIH. And so as a med spa, it's so nice to have a tool that is going to work and helps to improve conditions like melasma, can help to improve complications like PIH and not cause them. And so, again, why not look into that if you're a med spa owner and you don't have a Thallium laser, that 1927 wavelength. And there's lots of them on the market. The MOXI is just the one that I love because I have it and I use it every day. So final answer, can we treat during the summer? I hope that you like this and it gives you some hope and why are we shutting down our laser business during the summer? I think the pushback that I typically get is oh my God, am I going to ask my client for $1,500 or $1,000 for this MOXI treatment during the summer? And then they're going to the pool with their kids every day. Well, if they go to the pool with their kids every day and they don't wear sunscreen, then maybe not, right? But if they go to the pool every day with their kids and they wear sunscreen and they wear a hat and they want to continually improve the health of the skin, improve the texture of the skin, then yes, why not? And so I wouldn't say judge, just like we don't judge their pocketbook, don't judge their lifestyle. If you don't give them the opportunity to say yes, well, they're not going to say yes. They're not going to assume or know that they can do that. I think one thing we also need to remember is clients are going to lump lasers into all one laser. They don't typically have the background and education to know the difference between a light-based device like IPL, BBL, or a ND-YAG laser, a 1064 laser versus a 755 Alexandrite, completely different in when I use it and how I use it, compared to a non-ablative fractional laser like MOXI, compared to deep resurfacing like TRL. They're just calling them lasers. And so let's make sure that, one, we know, of course you guys know the difference, but we know how to use those safely year-round and particularly during the summer. And then take the time in the consultation, take the time during the injectable treatment during the summer, during the hydrofacial treatment during the summer, to educate them on the lasers that we can do very safely for the right client, for the right lifestyle. It's such a beautiful opportunity that I think we really tend to miss out on. So I hope you guys loved this episode. I hope you're thinking, wow, this summer I'm going to do something different. How about a promotion around lasers? I mean, when was the last time we did something like that? We tend to go to promotions for injectables and facials, but there's no reason why we can't do a promotion that has to do with lasers during the summer. Let's keep our lasers busy. Let's keep the client's skin healthy and looking great. And, doing the right thing, of course, for the client every single time, but considering and maybe rethinking how we look at lasers. So I'm Kat Toronto. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode, and I'll see you next time. Most clinics don't have a device problem. They have a utilization problem. You've invested in lasers, but inconsistent providers and underperforming consultations are limiting your revenue. The Laser Mastery Track is a 6-month performance program built to fix that. You get hands-on training with real patients across BBL, MOXI, Halo, RF microneedling, and more, plus structured consultation practice and competency validation. Then, Mint invests in your success with 6 months of coaching, case review, and revenue tracking to ensure training translates into predictable laser revenue. This is not a weekend training. It's a performance system built for clinics that expect a return on their devices. Go to mintaesthetics.com/lasermasterytrack 2026 to enroll today. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Making of a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast. I'm Kat Toronto, and it's been an absolute joy to be part of your journey. Until next time, let your passion lead the way. See you soon.